Hi, this is the demo of the application risk assessment. I am just launching the risk assessment application where it has all the enterprises already defined in it using these add new enterprise and add application details being stored, and I can select any of the existing applications, and then if I click on view enterprise, then the application details will be displayed. The enterprise details will be displayed along with the calls and connections between the applications, and it will display the application names and in the rectangular boxes connected with lines stating the connections existing between them, and also the number of calls that is shared between each and every application. When I get a project for any change that is going to happen in this enterprise, in any of the application in this enterprise, then I will define that change and try to understand whether NFT, the performance testing, is required for that particular change that is happening in this application or not. For that, I need to select an application out of all these 5 applications in this enterprise, and then I need to define the changes. So there are 3 categories. One is performance testing not required with the risk score less than 2.5, and 2.5 to 3.5 performance testing required after confirming with stakeholders. Greater than 3.5 it is performance testing compulsorily required. So for the first category, it will be the low functional changes or even low software changes or any low hardware changes alone. It will give us and also any low volume increase, we will get a low risk score of 2.17, which says performance testing is not required as a recommendation. If we see the view risk assessment report, we could see the report which is causing this as green, because CPU usage is green, memory usage, current memory usage is green, known production issues, there are no known production issues, there is an availability requirement of 95 to 99.5, and all the other categories which are there already stored in the database for each and every application in an enterprise. So these details need to be collected well ahead from the EADs and the enterprise architects and the solution architects and the developers who has developed all these applications, and this needs to be maintained as a repository which will have all the enterprises and all the applications present in one particular client account. For example, it might be a bank or any other retail account. So for that can be done by using this add new enterprise and add application details. We can add these details into it. Only thing what we are going to define here is the changes. So based on these changes and already defined application attributes, this particular risk score of 2.17 is arrived and it is green. So performance testing is not required. The user can print this by printing this risk assessment score, and he can attach this into his any of the test plans and say the risk assessment is properly conducted and the performance testing is not required for this change. Hence we are descoping this project from the performance testing scope. Okay, for that it will be very helpful. So when for the same application, if I am going to define a major change of data model changes or any other stuff, then my risk score will be 2.92, which is an amber category. So if I view the risk assessment report for this, it's an amber category because I have a red in the functional change area, but I do not have any known production issue and I have enough headroom to accommodate this change. So the recommendation would be performance testing is required after getting consensus with all the stakeholders that they are happy in supporting the budget required for the performance testing. Even though the headroom and production, even though headroom is available, there is no production issue exists, and also service categories being medium, we recommend a performance testing. But if all the stakeholders are okay to fund this performance testing, then we are ready to proceed with the performance testing. So that is what this category is telling us. So so this is with this. For example, to show a high category, we need to launch an application. We need to launch an application which has production issue with it. So we need, for example, if I want to understand the I want to define the change for a VAS server in a digital enterprise. It has the production issue as Amber here. So here, whenever we select the application, here the application specific details which are stored in the database will be displayed for the user. So when I select a high software change for this particular application, and when I define a considerable volume increase, I could see a recommendation of 4.17, which is high, which says performance testing is strictly required. This is because when we see the report, it says there are few SLA breaches in the production. That means there is known production performance issues, and availability requirement is also high, whereas the impact of other applications due to this application failure is high, and service category is high. So in addition to that, we have chosen a red category of software change and also a volume increase of Amber. So even if we remove this volume increase, this score will be high only, recommending a performance testing for sure, as it has production issue and headroom with a production issue and have got high service category. So even if I am going to put a no impact for this, this is going to say performance testing is strictly required for the change. So that's because of the known production issues and also impact of other applications and the service category being high. So now when we see this weightage, it is clear that the weightage is equally divided across the application attributes and changes to the system. So changes to the system is 60%, which is equally divided across functional change, hardware change, volume increase, and software changes here. And application attributes is properly divided across, with headroom being 40% CPU and the memory usage, the past CPU and the memory usage, and the current CPU and the memory usage, and whether it has enough CPU to accommodate the new change, and also on the service category and impact of failure on other apps and the availability requirements over here. So this is the performance risk score and also the recommendation. So the risk score calculation is clearly being explained in the PPT which I have already shared. And when I click on this display change results button, I could see the impacted application highlighted with the rag, whether it is green, amber or red, and then the number of calls being affected, and also the connections going from this application being affected in it. So this is what is the diagrammatic representation of the same. So that's with the performance risk score. When I go for non-performance, non-functional test risk score, I can get the risk score for security testing, compatibility testing, and accessibility testing. So I need to define the security category and whether it complies with OAWSP standards or not, and what is the architecture around it, whether Ajax is used or not in the application design, what is the level of UI changes being done via this project, and also whether there is any change to the security code or not. Based on that, a risk score will be displayed, and it says security testing is strictly required for this. And this particular distribution shows us the distribution across security testing, compatibility testing, and accessibility testing. Based on what are the parameters this particular testing is, risk score is calculated. Similarly, we can see for the compatibility and also accessibility risk scores, so which will make this application an one-stop shop for all the non-functional testings that needs to be covered as part of NFT. So this is how this is calculated, that is with this. And then when we see adding a new enterprise and adding a new application, I am just trying to add a new enterprise over here. For example, test, and number of applications is 2, and I can add the name of those applications, test add 1, and sorry, I forgot to click this. Okay, now I can add it, and then I can add another application here. 2 applications are added. Now all applications names updated, and then I am defining the connections and calls between them. I should say whether a connection exists between them or not, and also the number of calls made between them. So this is now updated. When I close this, I can add the application details for that particular enterprise which I define now, test 1, with all the application details over here, the application type and number of CPUs in production and storage capacity, and also the memory, RAM, and percentage average CPU usage for the past 3 months, and then for past 6 months, and then for the average memory usage of average memory usage in past month, and then known production issue, whether it's an amber, green or red, whether it has a production issue or not, impact of failure on other applications, requirements, and the volumes, and the business category, whether it is a high category application, medium or low, and user base, whether it has high user base, medium base, and also whether the user type is customer is going to access it, or a local colleague in the bank or any of the retail application is going to use it. After defining it, when I relaunch the application, I can see the enterprise which I have defined now. It's test 1, and I can view the diagram of it being displayed, and then I can go and define the changes for the application, and then I can view the risk score as well for that particular application. Display change results. Also I can view the report for the same, and I can print it if required. So this is the complete flow of how this application functions. Thank you.